जाने, अल्लाह जाने, मौला जाने, अल्लाह जाने, मौला जाने। नबी अली के नूर भरत है, नबी अली के नूर भरत है। जग में हसन हुसैन चैन जिए, अल्लाह जाने, मौला जाने, अल्लाह जाने, मौला, अल्लाह जाने, मौला, अल्लाह जाने, मौला जाने। नादददीम तुम तदिर नाददानी, नादददीम तुम तदिर नाददानी, नादददीम तुम तदिर नाददानी, नादददीम तुम तदिर ना तनदिर नादिम तनदिर नाददीम तदीम उदन तनु 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 तनननननदददीम तुम तदिर नाददानी, नादददीम तुम तदिर नाददानी, नादददीम नादददीम नादददीम।
ख्यालों में यूं तो कह गया, बोला कुछ न तेरे सामने। ओ हुए ना बेगाने भी तुम होके और के, देखो ना तुम मेरे ही बने। अफसोस होता है, दिल भी ये रोता है, सपने संजोता है, पगला हुआ सोचे ये हम जो मिले तुमसे, न जाने क्यों मीलों के है फासले, तुमसे न जाने क्यों। कैसे बताएं क्यों तुझको चाहें यारा, बता ना पाए बातें दिलों की, देखो जो बाकी आके तुझे समझाएं। तू जाने ना, तू जाने ना, तू जाने ना, तू जाने ना।
Hip hop. South India. Only bass, no treble.
छोटे शहरों में। मैं माँ की गोद में लेटा था, तब माँ ने बोला, बेटा तू जो ये पसीना सो के बाहर है, वही अगर जाग के बहाता तो शायद कुछ फायदा होता, और तिवारी जी की तरह हमारे घर में भी एक इन्वर्टर लगा होता। माँ की इस इन्वर्टर वाली बात ने मुझे कन्वर्ट कर दी, और मैं इलाहाबाद से सीधा आ गया बंबई के चौड़े सीने में, जिसे तब कहते थे वीटी।
एक तो ये सारा फिल्मों का दोष है। मतलब ये वीटी वीटी इतना फिल्मों में नहीं देखा होता तो फिरोजाबाद से सीधे दादर उतरती। खैर, अब अपना बैग लिए मैं पहुंची अंधेरी। अब भाई ईस्ट वेस्ट क्या है? मतलब अपने छोटे शहर में तो ईस्ट यानी चाइना और वेस्ट यानी अमेरिका, बट बॉस मुंबई में कॉन्टिनेंट और महाद्वीप नहीं, बल्कि ये एक ही हिस्से के दो अलग अलग जगहों की बात कर रहे हैं। अब भैया हमें कैसे पता चलेगा? I mean,
बंबई के बारे में लोग अक्सर कहा करते थे, अम्मा मियाँ बंबई में तो इंसानियत नाम की चीज ही नहीं है। लेकिन जरा सोचिए, जिस जगह इतने इंसान हो वहां इंसानियत कैसे जिंदा नहीं होगी? अब समुंदर से घिरे और इमारतों से दबे इस शहर को इंसानियत ने ही तो बचा के रखा है।
इंसानियत वैसे बड़ी अजीब जगह है ये। मतलब इतने खर्चीले शहर में लोग इतने दूर से पैसे जमा करने आते हैं, और ताज्जुब की बात यह है कि पैसे जमा भी हो जाते हैं, नहीं?
बंबई में आबोदाना और इश्कियाना के चक्कर में हम इतने आशियाना हो गए थे और दीवाने हो गए थे कि इश्कियाना होने का वक्त ही नहीं मिला। तब क्या, तब फिर छोटे शहर में एक लड़की ढूंढने का सिलसिला शुरू हुआ।
आई वॉज इन अपटाउन गर्ल। मुझे शादी की कोई जल्दी नहीं थी, पर माँ को थी। फिर क्या था, हो गई शादी पूरे तामझाम के साथ। हाँ,
तब तक मैं प्रोडक्शन में आ चुका था, शूटिंग फ्लोर्स पे सपनों के महल खड़े करवाता। सो गोया शादी के इंतजामात भी एकदम फिल्मी हुए। अब मुझे चाहिए था अपना एक घर और उसके सामने एक छोटा सा आंगन।
आंगन? वैसे हम तो छोटे शहर से आए थे, तो मुंबई आके थोड़ा शॉपिंग वॉपिंग करने का मन तो करेगा ना, और वो भी इतनी पॉश दुकानों में। तो पता है कभी कभी मैं क्या करती थी, एक अच्छी सी पॉश दुकान में जाके एक छोटी सी एक्सपेंसिव कैंडल लेती थी और अपने दिल को बहलाती थी, लुक आई हैव एस्केप्ड माय स्मॉल टाउन पना, लुक एट दिस एक्सपेंसिव कैंडल स्टैंड, मॉम वुड हैव नेवर गॉट समथिंग लाइक दिस। हाँ,
एक घर और एक आंगन के चक्कर में मैं रात दिन मेहनत करने लगा। दो शूटिंग के इंतजामात संभालते संभालते यहाँ खुद के इंतजामात कब बिगड़ गए पता ही नहीं चला। यहाँ आके एहसास हुआ कि हम रहते तो ऑफिसों में हैं और किराया घरों का देते हैं।
अजीब शहर है मुंबई, नहीं? मतलब फिल्मों के टुकड़े काटते काटते कब मेरी जिंदगी टुकड़ों में बदल गई पता ही नहीं चला। मेरी शादी इतनी खूबसूरती से बिखरी कि मैं एक टक देखती रह गई।
हम भूल जाते हैं कि ये शहर जितना मांगो उतना देता है, लेकिन बदले में उतना लेता भी है।
तकलीफ बहुत हुई, कई बार रोना भी आया। समुद्र के खारे पानी में दो चार आंसू हम भी मिलाए आए चुपचाप। पर इससे पहले कि मैं पूरा टूटती, इस शहर ने मुझे फिर से संभाल लिया।
और संभालता भी कैसे नहीं, कितने लोगों की उम्मीद पूरी करता है ये एक शहर।
ये तो है। Sometimes the more things change, the more they remain the same.
एक बात बताइए, क्या गाना रीमिक्स करने से ओरिजिनल गाना खत्म हो जाता है? क्या शादी टूट जाने से रिश्ता खत्म हो जाता है? और क्या बंबई कर देने से मुंबई मर जाती है? आई डोंट थिंक सो।
जैसे इस शहर में शब्दों के मतलब बदले, हमारे रिश्ते भी दोस्ती में बदल गए। हाँ, शादी नहीं तो दोस्ती ही सही। यहाँ मुंबई में ऐसा पॉसिबल है।
जो भी हो भैया, मुंबई हम जैसे दीवानों को किसी मंजिल तक पहुंचाएगी जरूर।
देर से ही सही, पर पहुंचाएगी जरूर।
You know, as they say, you always keep your best for the last. So I'm the last act in this lineup. I'm just kidding. My name is Mandar Bhide. I'm a stand-up comic. I was living in Pune last year and I was rated amongst the top 5 comics in Pune. And nobody needs to know there are only 5 comics in Pune. So here for the launch of this company, which is an online portal which looks to connect anyone who's seeking an alternate profession directly to recruiters. It's like the Naukri.com for people with actual talent. Or to put it simply, it is the online version of Cafe Coffee Day Warsaw. And it's a very dignified way for us artists to find work. I use the word dignified because all you need to do here is just upload a video of your performance. And here's a little bit of advice to whoever is looking to use the service. Record your videos with the front camera of a really cheap phone. When the recruiter looks at your video, he's like, "Ye acha hai, lekin ye gareeb hai." He probably needs the assignment more. You know, all these guys who you see beatboxing in washrooms or breaking into a random dance move in the middle of the road, these are not crazy people. These are artists seeking work. You know, I've been told that the CEO of this company is an alumni of Harvard. He's a professor at Stanford. And he has a startup now, which is confusing because in India, startups exist only because the founders can't get into Harvard or Stanford. So are you guys ready to welcome the big man on the stage? So please start clapping till he's here. Give a huge round of applause to Mr. Shekhar Purohit. Can I have all the artists here as well?
Thank you. Come on, guys. Come on down, guys. So, a big round of applause for the talent that's showcased in front of all of you today. Most of them have never performed on stage, let alone in front of industry stalwarts and the media. So for them, this is a really big deal. And this is the ethos and the power of Talent Next, right? So what is Talent Next, right? Talent Next is India's premier technology platform that is going to revolutionize how we look at the talent management process. Technology is not new to Bollywood, nor is it new to the media and entertainment industry. No one has more experience than he does, particularly in the television space. And we have our young pup here, Mr. Samir Pitwala, who is called... Folks, come on. Yeah, straight up. So I guess we want to start with...
Hi, can you have? Well, it seems very exciting, Shekhar. I think especially first I have to congratulate all the young talent that actually platformed their talent for the very first time. Like you said, that most of them haven't been on a stage before, so congratulations to all of them. Young, vibrant energy is always welcome in any entertainment industry. I was very intrigued by the AV you showed us about, the modalities of how to work this entire talent online concept that you're introducing, which is the very first, I think, in our entertainment industry. And I think it's going to open various doors to so much talent that would otherwise go unnoticed. And I think since it's a click away, it gives you that one-on-one contact with that talent. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
On today. It was very fresh, it was very energetic. And the AV that I saw, I think this is an outstanding model that you have created. And it's going to solve a lot many problems that one always thought existed and didn't know how to solve them. And I think it's all there, not only for someone who's talented and looking for work, but also for someone who's trying to source the right talent for his or her job. I think, Karan, if you remember our acting years.
Indradhosh, right?
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Somebody told me about that recently.
I've actually, a lesser known fact that I think Ashutosh and I were in the same scene together, which I'm really embarrassed about. I don't know about him. But But then subsequently, I think we're just better off as filmmakers, especially with my disastrous debut recently. I think I shouldn't talk about my acting at all.
So one went to so many offices. This is a series called Indradhanush, Mr. Anand Mahendru.
Yeah.
So one has went to a lot of offices and looking for work and all of that. And I wish when I was acting, your portal was existing then. It would have been a great help.
Yeah. Prahlad sir, I know you've got 40 years of experience of seeing this from where people would actually take it to their offices in, folio to even today.
True. We used to get lots of young people coming to office with photographs. Some touched, some not touched.
Yeah.
And some we couldn't understand why. And we had drawers full of them. And I remember all our trainees were given this job of sorting out all the rejects and the maybes and the have-beens, into little piles. And then sending, mine was the only office that actually didn't bin the rejects. We actually sent them back.
Oh, great.
Because there were addresses at the back, we actually posted them back and said, listen, sorry, but I don't think we can do anything with you, at this stage, because they were just photographs. There was no talent, thing. You had to call them for a test. You had to do all kinds of things. Yeah. And we were known in the industry, especially in the advertising industry, for our original casting, because we were among the few people who actually broke that barrier that all models in advertising have to be good looking.
No, and that's a great point, sir.
Because today what has happened is that advertising is looking for real people, not just good-looking people.
Yes.
Because what happens when you have only good-looking people, it takes you 3 days to shoot a commercial with about 500 takes.
So I'll ask you to hold that thought because I'm going to pick on that in a second in terms of real characters. And I want to come to Salim, who, one of the reasons why we built this was to build the industry's first end-to-end technology platform, right, that allowed you to manage your talent pipeline from profiling to online auditions to selection to final auditions to casting. And I know you've traveled the world in the music space, in particular, looking at so many different types of talents. I wanted you to take that perspective and put it to what you saw.
I think it's phenomenal. The most important thing I feel is there's so much talent which is outside Mumbai. A lot of people just come to Mumbai thinking, yeah, this is the place we're going to get a chance to sing. This is the place where we're going to get a chance to score a film but you don't need to come to Mumbai with this kind of a portal. You can be in Ghaziabad, you can be in Bengal, you can be anywhere, and showcase what you have. As a matter of fact, sometimes when I go outside India, I see so much. There's so much of music out there, especially Indians, Pakistanis, who, they're great musicians, they're great singers, but there's absolutely no industry there for them. They want to come to Bollywood. That's their dream. They want to do something in the Indian music industry, in Indian film industry, but how? Yeah. How would they connect with, And imagine these people, they have day jobs and stuff like that, but they're fantastic singers. They're great. They're great artists. Some of them are great musicians. They play, instruments like sitar, and they don't speak a word of Hindi. But when it comes to singing, they can sing beautifully, whether it's a thumri, whether it's a rag-based thing, whether it's anything. Right. And they want to, that's their dream. They want to just kind of sing one film song, or they want to be recognized. They want to come to Mumbai to, to maybe just sing a little bit in the advertising industry or something like that. Yeah. So it's for them, a portal like this is really phenomenal. They don't really need to come to Mumbai. Yeah. All they need to do is just do this video or audio clip or whatever, and that's it. If they have something, there's so much going on Facebook, but then Facebook also has a lot of other garbage which you don't want to read and go through. Right. So if this is talent centric and if there's a portal which is dedicated like TN. It really solves a lot of problems and a lot of it really gets them what they need, what they desire.
So you hit on two of the buzzwords or key things that we believe in, which I'm going to kind of turn to Mr. Nair to talk about a little bit. Is the purpose of the platform from a talent discovery perspective is to make it more efficient and effective, right? And sir, you go through hundreds of shows a week in terms of pilots and demos.
AV was really nice, and it's a brilliant idea. I'm surprised no one has done it yet to this scale. We've had ideas like this before in the past, but it's never really come together. I think modern technology allows that to happen.
Our brands are predominantly on digital. So for us, we look at YouTube, Facebook, Twitter as Tata Sky and Dish TV, and we want to build media brands on top of them. And because of the fact that it's as simple to get in touch with our brands by just clicking on message, we get a whole bunch of people sending in auditions and show reels. There's a lot of noise, and if everybody wants to be cast in the next every Bombay girl in the world or every Delhi girl in the world. And what we tend to do now is that we just actually have to go through all of that, and that takes a lot of effort because that's a lot of people from across India sending a variety of content towards us. And this actually, I think, is a good way to filter out the signal from the noise.
Yeah, no, that's definitely sure. I'm going to ask a couple of pointed questions here. So, Ashutosh sir, you've made such great large films where principal characters and cult characters have come alive, like Kachra and Goli. How would you think about using this platform to find those kind of characters?
You mean by sheer casting?
By sheer casting, yeah.
No, earlier what I did, as in right up to my recent film, is I would go on the various channels on television and look at the regional programming that is existing. And from the regional programming, you're able to see so many actors who, for some reason or the other, have not been able to make it to Mumbai. Probably financially they've not been able to come, or some others feel that there's no point in going to Mumbai. And I've most of the times gone in there and got my talent from there. But that's a very time-consuming process. It's been, they've all been always very pleasantly surprised to know that, they've been contacted in this manner. So a platform like yours, what it helps us do is, it's a click away now. I'm hoping it will be a click away, because the way you've created it, I was quite surprised the detailing that you have done. And I look forward to now, even for casting directors, the access for them becomes much, much easier. Because otherwise, Mumbai becomes the hub. You always are making available actors that are here in the vicinity. The moment you think of an actor who's from Malihabad, you're like, who's going to now try and reach out to that person, get him here and audition? What if you don't like the person? All those kind of questions arise. So I think this is going to be great.
What Ashutosh is talking about is actually very true, because we cast Smita Patil from a Marathi news channel. That was the first time Sham actually saw her. We all saw her and said, wow, there's a charisma about her, there's an aura. And though she's just a news reader, she projected herself brilliantly. And the rest was history. Because the first film that she ever did was Charandas Chor, and which was a little village film which was on a play, in Chhattisgarh, for that matter. And after that, of course, she became whatever she became. But she was cast from a Marathi news channel, which some of our light boys and peons used to watch on a regular basis. And they were the ones who told Saab, look at this girl, she's absolutely smashing. And that's how she was cast. Basically, what Ashutosh is talking about is true, but what your thing is going to do is going to open up a whole lot of possibilities. Now, you look at the verticals that exist today in terms of possibilities. The film industry, at its best, is still a moms and pop shop. Okay? So its casting is done through people who are useless relatives. Okay? And so somebody's bhai, bhatija, useless chap, some drug addict, some guy who's come back from rehab, acha usko dal do. Because they actually believe that you do not really need real talent for male actors to succeed. Okay? The women are all from outside. And the reason why the women are from outside is because nobody wants, there's a stigma about putting your daughter into the movie industry. So they don't mind somebody else's daughter being in the movie industry. But you don't want to put your own daughter into the movie industry. Now, this is the hard truth. What I'm saying is existing for the last 50 years or 100 years, and there's residues of it coming through even now. There are lots of young producers and directors who are willing to experiment. But the hardcore industry actually doesn't want to cast new people. They want somebody who's established, somebody who's already there, somebody who's going to be their ticket to ride and who's going to give them an initial, which is what they call it. Okay, but there's so many verticals now opening up. There's Netflix, there's entertainment on the phone, there's serials, there's a whole lot of people who are now not just going to watch movies.
तो ये आपका जो casting का comment है, I actually want to ask.
This is going to open up the whole Pandora's box.
Well, I hope it's not Pandora's box. I hope it's a box of flowers and
Well,
roses.
part of it will be Pandora's box, well, part of it will not. You know?
What the hell, But I'm going to ask Karan to comment a little bit because he is the most prominent discoverer of talent, I think, globally. And, Karan, if you could take a few minutes to kind of opine on two things, right? One is the discovery of talent that this portal can do, and two is what is going to be the impact of content creation when a portal like this gives you accessibility to talent globally?
Firstly, I think in the zone of casting vis-a-vis movies, I think a lot has changed, and in the last decade specifically. I think there was a zone in the 80s and 90s, which I think Prahlad was referring to about the useless relatives. But I think, fortunately, I never had any useless relatives, so I didn't have to bring them onto celluloid at all. I do understand what he probably means is nepotism, which I think is fairly active in the film fraternity, and that's something that we have to acknowledge and accept on all levels. But I think recently, and I think Ashutosh will share that with you, and especially directors like Ashutosh have done some fantastic, supporting casting, and that have actually gone on to create memorable characters. And in the last decade, I've noticed I would say, the initiation of the casting director who has acquired prominence. There is actually, it used to otherwise be something very ad hoc. Just like Ashutosh said, he used to go on and, kind of look at regional television. All of us used to kind of do the same thing. We used to go on television, or we used to go and just see who were in other movies. It wasn't really a structured network created in the zone of casting, which has been a recent phenomenon. And I think now the casting director actually has acquired frontline credit, and also and so many of them have been responsible, be it Mukesh Chhabra or be Shanu Sharma, be it, I think recently the casting of Urta Punjab, which I say Hani Trehan, I think, who did a phenomenal job. These are actors that there is no way that you can actually know anything about unless it's a structured process. Similarly, so with what you've introduced has taken that structure and given it more definite structure. So I think it's completely fantastic, and one doesn't need to depend on nepotism to get talent on celluloid now. You could find it, in theaters, you could find it in regional cinema, you could find it on digital formats, you could find it on television shows. And it'll all be kind of streamlined with your concept, and I think it's phenomenal. How does it change and create content was your second question. Well, obviously, I think that when you do find the kind of exceptional talent that is available to you through the digital format, it of course makes you think and create characters and makes you kind of change things, and you don't follow the conventional path of creativity. I think it does give you an open up windows and doors, as I said earlier. And I'm vastly excited about the possibilities. A lot has changed, and I think it's time for us to acknowledge that as well in the movies. I think we're not making the kind of content that we used to. There is a paradigm shift in terms of what we want to project our cinema to be. There will always be the mainstream, there will always be the playing to the gallery, but there is also so much unusual filmmaking that is going on that is finding a large acceptance. Then similarly, like what, I think, what you said about Samir, there is so much digital television about it, there are web series, there are so many formats and portals that can actually take our entertainment and give it a totally different color altogether. It's not just film. Film is not the be-all and end-all of anyone's existence. I keep saying that film is maybe aspirational. Film is like the big screen medium. But let me tell you, there is a large diminishing effect of the power of film. It'll always remain as the mother of all entertainment. Celluloid will always have its charm. We can't call it celluloid anymore, actually. It's digital. So that itself kind of kills a certain aspect. But I mean, everything is moving to different formats. If you go to America, I mean, what is, barring the big event film, the franchise film, or the adaptation of this tremendous book, the film, the regular film, has completely made its way to television. Right. Everything, everyone is watching. So there's so many opportunities that give so many opportunities to music, to actors, to all kinds of talent, that, they shouldn't just feel like that bomb Mumbai and the film industry is your big dream. It used to be the big dream. It's now not a nightmare, but it's definitely between a dream and a nightmare.
No, so
No,
we're
but what's
definitely
interesting,
betting.
Karan, is that you're actually going to have to play around with. You can actually layer your films. So, as a director, even if your content writer has made it unidimensional, when you actually deal with your talent on the floor and they give you 5 options on the same character in terms of the running role, you start making your content far more complex because you don't make it for the lowest common denominator. You make it much more sophisticated, you make it much more complex, and that is what actually good casting is all about. It gives the director such a lot of options to actually take the basic content and layer it.
Yeah.
And layering is actually going to be what is going to be the future.
Yeah. So I want to just pose one kind of question to Samir sir. जितना reality shows बन रहे हैं अभी इंडिया में, how does this impact the auditions for that? Because once I had the fortune of actually going to one of these auditions that a cousin was doing in Jaipur, line इतनी लंबी है. How does this help you guys?
But actually, you see, one is about the reality show auditions, is that there's a thrill in doing that, as into going to the cities and having the big lines, because that makes good television, and it looks nice, it shows the whole city is activated. But what it does, most importantly, is that, of course, something like this allows a lot more people to participate, a lot more people to sort of send in their entries, whether they are freaks or whether they are genuinely talented. But either way, it's a real opening it up.
Right.
And the more important thing, just to echo what Karan is saying, is that in the few years, this whole content business is going to explode. And it's like a monster that needs to be fed. It needs talent. It needs lots of new talent. And while movies is like the gold standard, but everything else in the business, whether TV or online or events or just performances,
Or
anything.
even advertising.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I think to echo a little bit what Karan was saying earlier, films is the granddaddy of them all, as they call the Rose Bowl in the U.S. But and it is there's a massive style factor to it. But for a platform like this, we definitely believe that digital content, ad films, and then television is going to be the biggest platform that it can be in terms of people that come on and post their profiles. So with that being said, I'm going to open it up to the audience a little bit for a few questions and then to the media. So where's our first question here?
I want to add one
Yes,
thing.
sir.
Is that in your, format, there's one small missing point. See, the biggest hurdle that we have today, as far as entertainment is concerned, is content writers. Okay, there is, I find no space or a area to perform for content writers.
Yeah.
Because first we underpay them. We don't treat them with the due respect that they get everywhere else in the world. And so not too many young content writers want to be content writers. They actually prefer to be directors.
Yes.
So when you find a content writer who's even halfway, talented, he says, I don't want to write for somebody else. I want to write for myself. I want to be a director. So directors are given a haloed position. Content writers actually have no place even on your format to actually display themselves.
Yeah, so just a slight correction on that, sir. The last piece that was in the demo was upload your own script or upload your own content. So we made a very conscious effort actually to focus on that, right? Which is, the world is just not about actors and actresses and dancers and DOPs. They're only really as good as the content that you give them to perform on, right?
No, but see, you have to understand one thing. Our film industry as such is relatively illiterate. Nobody reads. Nobody reads. So you have to actually narrate a script. So when you say upload your script, it's going to go into the bin. When you turn around and say narrate your script, that's a different format altogether.
I think, Prahlad, lots has changed. I think you're still, like Karan says, you're talking about the 80s and the 90s.
No,
Things
but
have
nobody
changed a
reads,
little bit.
even now.
I don't know, at least for the films I do
Everybody
as a
says,
composer.
give me a narration.
It's not true. I think it's there's this very small percentage now that doesn't read. I mean, at least from my knowledge, from my experience, as of now, a lot of people read. Even film composers who normally like situation kya hai bata do aur hum log gana karenge. Even they've been given scripts and one reads this. I mean, at least I do.
No, among the film fraternity, the music fraternity, they've definitely learned how to write music Sunday. And they're not sort of taking it off the top of the head or lifting it from somewhere else. which used to be the practice. So I find that there's a difference there. There are people who read, but I don't think even now in the mainstream film industry, writing is the best way to get through to anybody. They all want a narration.
Yeah, so I think we're going to do our best we can to actually make that come alive on the platform, and I think that's great feedback, sir.
You should have a little section where you can just upload a narration.
I think I'm just going to have an artificial. I'm going to have an artificial
Like a 50.
intelligence thing that can actually read the script that you put up there.
That's pretty good.
Verbally.
Also, just a suggestion. I mean,
Yeah,
just
please.
on a
Of
soft
course.
note, that if there is some way you can send a friend request internally
That's
within
interesting.
TN.
That's interesting.
So I can be friends with a singer. I can be friends with a composer within TN.
Yes, sure.
It's
So-
a cool way to just
Yeah,
interact.
no,
and
Salim,
sort of-
that's
Yes, that builds the fraternity.
You've actually
this
you've actually
kind of-
talked about the next evolution of our product,
Yeah, this
which
kind
is to
of
build
builds.
a network.
This sort of builds. So when people see pictures and they can, even though I'm a composer, I'd like to see a picture of a singer.
Right.
I mean, apart from just
Right,
working,
sure.
or a picture of the actor, and sort of be friends
Bounce
with.
off ideas.
Yeah, so it's nice. You just create a community within TN.
No, and that's the holy grail for us, Salim, is the idea, the ethos of this is not just around discovery of talent and content creation and eventual casting, but it's really creating a network of like-minded people, as we say often, to be able to interface within themselves. And the next evolutions that you'll see of our platform in the next 6 to 9 to 12 months is actually going to give you exactly that. And I think particularly for your industry, that interaction continuously of the global genre of music that's out there is very critical. Is very critical. So questions, where are the mics here? Yeah. Sure, go for it. Do you think
I think good looks overpower talent?
Yeah.
I mean, that's. I don't know what your concept of good looking is. It could be different from mine. But I think if I use the word conventional, I think the biggest superstars of this country probably don't conform to traditional and conventional good looks. So obviously, to answer that question, I don't think it has anything to do with the way you look, because beauty just stops at a point and talent has to take over. Right. Because you can't, beauty, as you know, and no matter how poetic we get about beauty, after a point it does fade. And talent has to take over, because eventually, I mean, if you're not talented, I don't think you can stand a chance on any entertainment format.
So I think we had a question up there.
Hello. Hi. Good afternoon. Mr. Ashutosh, my question is directed to you. You started your career with acting and then ventured into multiple things. So how important do you think it is today for a talent to pitch a multiple skill set?
No, I don't think a talent should project too many things at a time. He needs to have one core talent that he should project.
And then grow into other things.
The others can follow. Because if you don't have that focus, it also kind of deviates from what the employer is looking at. You don't want to be told that मैं ये भी कर सकता हूँ, मैं ये भी कर सकता हूँ, ये भी कर सकता हूँ. And you're like, one sec, I just want, can you do this? I just want a singer or an actor. So I think you should focus on one strain first, one stream, and then open your wings.
Okay, we have one over here on the right side.
Is this working?
Yep.
Because considering that, we have so many multis and, we find talent today where we least expect it. This is one such place where we hope that we find people, who we don't generally reach to. In terms of question, my question is to KJ and to Ashu sir and people who have production houses and who have empaneled casting directors with them already. My question is that we as freelance casting directors, if today spot a talent through this portal or something, how can we blur the lines in terms of reaching to your casting directors or, sending them directly to a Dharma or an AGBPL? I mean, my worry could be a very micro worry at a very small level, but for a talent, for an actor who's genuinely a very good talent, it might be at a very macro level, So I just wanted to ask, as a casting director sitting in Andheri in one of those, Mada or an Aram Nagar office, how is it possible for me, through this portal, to take those talents to your casting directors or to your production houses directly? Will those lines blur, or is it again going to be a channel in the process?
I can speak for myself when I say that we don't have a one casting director. Like I think Shanu casts only for BioRef. I don't think that we have one. We work with multiple casting directors. So in that respect, I mean, if at all one does engage with this digital concept of casting, I mean, all doors at Dharma open. You just have to get in touch with the EPs of the film, and it's a very simple process, and we encourage that. At Dharma, I think we kind of keep an open, democratic forum in any kind of vertical of the film, and we're not bound to one casting director for any film. We worked with about 6 of them in the last 2 years, so you know, it's an open forum for us.
Yeah, I think ditto that. Even we have worked with now 2 casting directors. Actually, that's a question more for the casting director fraternity. Because there is a lot of insecurity that creeps in that when I want, suppose, a particular kind of actor and the casting director is not able to give it to me, he or she feels not very happy about the fact that not being able to deliver. But actually, that's not the case. So it's between the networking of casting directors that you might have a certain actors in your bouquet and you need to have an exchange. So we, even like what you said, it doesn't matter to us whether it's coming from you or from somebody else. What is important is we need someone to fit our requirement. So that can be in every... Also, I just want to add here, that what I like most about this portal is also that, you know, when I was doing Jodha Akbar, we needed these oboe players and particular instruments. And at that time, we had to go searching all over, and we found 2 in Canada, 2 in somewhere in Europe, and had to source them and get them. It took some time for us to do. Yeah. But for a portal like this, I think it'll be easier for me to reach out to a very obscure artist who specializes in some kind of expertise and get him for my movie. Or for it can be anybody else's requirement. It can be a musician's requirement, you know. So I think that's a one.
That's a great example.
One of the questions that he wants to know and didn't ask was that how does he monetize his flock with a casting director?
Yes.
Because a casting director is paid by the production house. A freelance casting director actually takes the money from the model who he recommends to whoever he recommends it to.
Yes. Yes.
So if he recommends a particular model, then he to a casting director, he loses them.
Right.
And how does he then monetize his efforts?
Yes. I think he has the answer to that through my team already. So, but I think, hold on one second. I think Samir actually has a unique perspective on this, given how much castings they have to do with raw talent.
Yeah, I mean, the way to look at it is that movies have limited bandwidth. The fact that the directors like Karan and Ashutosh will only do these many movies in a year. And then the second amount where you actually get tonnage and throughput is television. And the third, which is really a separate industry altogether, is the world which we are part of, which is digital. I mean, in UTV, we created a show called Chikipedia, which was meant only for the web. And in that, we casted Tahir Raj Bhasin. In fact, because of that series, then he got noticed by Yash Raj and was then in Mardani. So Tahir, to a large extent, was discovered because of a digital web series. The girl who was cast opposite him, Nafisa, actually has a good career on television now. So I think what's happened now, in fact, at Culture Machine, a lot of our product, whether it's on Being Indian or Blush, while we have mainstream Bollywood talent which comes for the big video, a lot of the talent actually keeps getting called regularly for films. So I think one step to think about is like a funnel. On the top end, you have digital, where you have a lot of tonnage of content, and because of that, talent gets discovered, and quite frankly, it gets watched by millions of people. So you get your face in front of like 150 million people who access portals like YouTube and Facebook and actually get to prove your talent in whatever genre which you are there, whether it's singing or acting or directing, or even people on art and art design actually get regularly called by movie production houses. The thing is, they don't have the bandwidth because they have to choose proven talent, because they're putting that kind of money on a product which is going to cost crores. So they want proven talent. Where do they go? They go to TV, and now increasingly they go to digital. So probably if you're a casting director, get in touch with us at Culture Machine. We create content regularly, and it's a great way to actually focus on new talent, because we can't afford Bollywood talent. So necessity is the mother of invention, and that's the reason why we have to break new talent.
Well, the necessity is the reason why we created Talent Next. So that's a great explanation, Samir. I think we have one more question waiting Yep.
Hi. Okay, so this question is directed towards Salim. I was just wondering, so what is the most essential thing you look at while forming a crew?
What do you mean by forming a crew?
Like, let's say if you want to pick your actors and your, even background actors, or is that a platform for in Talent Next? Like, I'm just wondering.
I'm a musician, so
Okay.
if talking about, if I have to choose like a musician, let's say a keyboardist or a shahnai player or an oboe player or whatever, it's something which touches me. I mean, I don't really look at what the person can do, how many different instruments that guy can play or whatever. But for me, it's just if I relate to his playing or her playing, or the music he or she does, or the singing she does or he does, then that really is my calling. That I feel like I should connect with the person. But Ashu said a very interesting thing about he was looking for these oboe players during Jodha Akbar. And many a times when we do a song, we look for a new voice. And even though there are so many new voices, there's always like, lekin that thumri voice, that little, that age in that voice. And sometimes it's very difficult to find in Mumbai city. And you definitely get something like that more in, the regions of Punjab and Uttar Pradesh and Jammu and stuff like that. And those, lot of artists, they don't really want to come down to Mumbai. They're very comfortable in their own spaces. They're very happy. Some of them are radio artists. They perform on radio and they're phenomenal. And believe me, nobody knows about them in Mumbai. There's so many, and it's really something which you have to really research if you need a fantastic voice. For instance, like a female voice, which is like in her 50s or 60s or whatever. You need that kind of voice for a film song. It's very hard to find. You only have your Kavita Sheth or your Malini Avasti or whatever, a couple of other artists. But if you're really looking for a new voice, it's very, very difficult. I believe with TN, it will make a difference. If it reaches out to those people, if it reaches out to those artists and those singers and those musicians, we in Mumbai and the entire world will have a great time listening to these and discovering these voices.
That's well said, Salim. Thank you.
Hi, this is Ravi. Hi, this is Ravi, and my question to Salim sir. Hi, this side. सर टैलेंट की बात हो रही है तो अगर लेजेंडरी की बात ना हो तो थोड़ा सा अधूरा लगेगा. लोग इस समय चाह रहे हैं कि एक म्यूजिशियन पर एक बायोपिक बने. सो व्हाट्स योर टेक ऑन दिस कि आर.डी. बर्मन पर एक बायोपिक बनना चाहिए, आप क्या कहेंगे इस पर?
आर.डी. बर्मन जी पे एक फिल्म बन चुकी है ऑलरेडी, विच इज़ कॉल्ड पंचमदा, आई थिंक इट्स कॉल्ड. अनफॉर्चुनेटली वो फिल्म एक्चुअली सोनी पर आई थी और it's very sad that it didn't really get the kind of viewership it required. But I think if it would have been great if it really got to digital content and because that way तो पंचमदा पे फिल्म बनी है. Just to answer your question, it came out about 3 years ago. It released on Sony Mix or so. I don't know which channel.
आपको लगता है कि मास ऑडियंस तक पहुंचनी चाहिए उनकी बायोपिक?
बेशक, आई थिंक उनका म्यूजिक आज भी जिंदा है, उनका म्यूजिक आज भी हम सुनते हैं. तो बेशक पहुंचनी चाहिए. बट मेरे हिसाब से टेलीविज़न अपनी जगह पे बहुत ही कमाल कर रहा है. लेकिन अगर ये सेम चीज़ अगर डिजिटल पे आ जाती है तो कई बार ऐसा होता है कि जो चीज़ टेलीविज़न पे आती है वो पूरी दुनिया नहीं देख सकती बिकॉज ऑफ द प्रोग्रामिंग द वे इट इज़. इंडिया ऑफ कोर्स वॉचेस इट. जितना इंडिया देखता है उतना देखता है, जितना बीम होता है बाहर. बट जैसे पंचमदा जैसे वो बायोपिक जैसे बनी थी, अगर उसी तरह डिजिटल पे अगर वो बने तो कनाडा, अमेरिका, यूके, इस तरह के कंट्रीज़ में बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो ये डिजिटल कंटेंट कंज्यूम कर पाएंगे. तो आई थिंक इट्स बेटर इट गोज ऑन डिजिटल एज वेल.
हाय करण, दिस इज आलोक. आप बस आवाज़ सुन लीजिए, आपके सामने हूँ.
हाँ आलोक.
सवाल ये है, एज अ प्रोड्यूसर और एज अ डायरेक्टर जब आप फिल्में करते हैं तो कास्टिंग पे कितना ध्यान आपका जा पाता है और किस तरीके का डिफरेंस होता है एक प्रोड्यूसर और एक डायरेक्टर के होने के नाते?
देखिए, प्रोड्यूसर होने के नाते तो अब कास्टिंग में मैं कभी घुसता ही नहीं, क्योंकि वो डायरेक्टर का माध्यम है. जब मैं डायरेक्टर होता हूँ तो ऑफ कोर्स कास्टिंग इज़ अ वेरी इंटीग्रल पार्ट ऑफ द प्रोसेस. तो आजकल जैसे बहुत अहमियत है कास्टिंग पे, और ज़रूरी होता है क्योंकि हमारे जो किरदार होते हैं, जो एक्टर्स होते हैं, वो अभी वो ट्रेडिशनल फॉर्मेट के कैरेक्टर्स नहीं रहे. अभी देर आर लेयर्स एंड देर आर ग्रे एरियाज एंड एक ऊंदा एक्टिंग की बहुत ज़रूरत होती है. एंड आई थिंक जस्ट फॉर दैट I think we have to be extra particular. तो casting is a big drawn out process. अभी बहुत बड़ा process बन चुका है वो हमारे लिए. It's not simple कि हम किसी ने उस फिल्म में काम किया है तो उसे कास्ट कर लो. अभी नए चेहरे की बहुत ज़रूरत होती है. और ये नए चेहरे जो होते हैं, नए टैलेंट जो होता है, जो हुनर जो होता है, वो बहुत ज़रूरी होता है to go to different kind of platforms and people to find that. आजकल ये होता है फ्रेश जो वर्ड बन चुका है ना, वो बहुत बड़ा वर्ड बन चुका है कि सब चाहते को कोई फ्रेश आ जाए, कुछ अलग हो, कुछ नया हो. वही किरदार अगर हम बार बार उसी एक्टर के पास जाएं, जिसने फादर का रोल किया होगा, तो तो आई फाइंड दीज कॉन्वर्सेशंस हैपनिंग अराउंड मी ऑल द टाइम कि लेट्स फाइंड अ न्यू फादर. I mean, वो न्यू फादर का क्या मतलब होता है पता नहीं. Now she's played a mother in 2 movies. We must find a new mother. तो नया बाप, नई माँ, नए भाई बहन, characters, interesting areas. It's all become about kind of finding new talent and platforming it on cinema. क्योंकि जो भी नया होता है और जो अलग होता है, उसे ज़्यादा I think acceptance मिलती है and you get much more praise for actually trying something different.
पहली फिल्म की अगर कास्टिंग का अगर कोई ट्रिविया आप देना चाहें जिसमें आपको मशक्कत काफ़ी हुई हो.
पहली फिल्म, मेरी पहली फिल्म?
जी जी जी.
मैं तो हर जगह गया था. मैं भिखारी बन चुका था उस फिल्म में. 9 हीरोइंस ने मुझे ना किया था टू कास्ट रानी मुखर्जीज रोल. मैंने सोचा कि मुझे कोई ना मिले तो मुझे शॉर्ट स्कर्ट पहन के वो रोल करना पड़ेगा. इवेंचुअली 8 हीरोइंस सेड नो टू मी एंड देन आई वेंट टू रानी, जिन्होंने गुलाम किया था और करने वाली थी, वो कर रही थी, और उसके पास गया था क्योंकि आयरॉनिकली it was suggested to me by both Shahrukh and Aditya Chopra. एंड दे सेड कि एक पिक्चर आई थी उसकी, राजा की आएगी बारात, तो उसने एक एक्सप्रेशन दिया था कि ट्रेलर चल रहा था उस दौर में, कुछ एक फैंटास्टिक सा एक मेन स्ट्रीम एक्सप्रेशन दिया था रानी ने. दोनों ने मुझे रेकमेंड उसी एक ही दिन पे किया था कि गो टू रानी, बिकॉज मैं नाम नहीं लूंगा, 8 हीरोइंस ऐसे नो टू मी, और किसी का फ़ोन भी वापस नहीं आया था. मैंने नरेट किया था जिस तरह प्रहलाद कहते हैं ना, उस टाइम मैंने स्क्रिप्ट किसी को नहीं दिया था, बाकायदा नरेशन दी थी मैंने, बहुत ड्रामेटिक नरेशन दी थी. फिर भी उन्होंने, फिर उसके बाद सलमान के रोल के लिए मैंने पता नहीं कहाँ गया था. तो फाइनली इट वाज अ बिग, तो ट्रिविया क्या बताऊँ, यही इट्स आई हैड टू रियली बेग फॉर बोथ सलमान एंड रानी टू बी ऑन बोर्ड. वो दौर अलग था, वो दिन अलग थे, क्योंकि मुझे इतना ही था कि पहली सीन में रानी मुखर्जी को मरना था, वो इट वाज शी वाज डाइंग. तो मुझे मेरे पापा ने कहा था कि अरे कोई नई लड़की होगी वो मर जाएगा, कोई केयर भी नहीं करेगा कि वो मर गई पहले सीन में. यू नीड सम काइंड ऑफ अ स्टार to kill her in the first scene. तो इसलिए मैं चाहता था कोई जाना माना सा चेहरा हो. तो it's been, I mean, I'm sure Ashutosh will tell you more stories about the casting of Lagan, क्योंकि वहाँ इतनी पूरी जो क्रिकेट टीम कास्ट करनी थी. I think that to me is the epitome, and I would say it to Ashu himself. I think it opened the doors, Lagan opened the doors of unusual casting in mainstream cinema, because there was not a single film till 2001 where you saw so many interesting new faces that all left a mark individually. It's never happened, and it actually opened the doors of casting. उसके पहले बहुत सारे जो डिफरेंट रूट्स होते थे, वो इंडस्ट्री कास्टिंग होती थी, जो उस फिल्म में किसी ने किरदार निभाया, किसी और फिल्म में किया है, तो वहाँ से ले लो, यहाँ से ले लो. बट आई हैड नेवर सीन दोज फेसेस. They were real people, and I think it was a large part of the success of Lagan was the casting of the cricket team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my question is to Ashutosh. I would just add it out with Karan. Definitely, Ashu is known for his very big canvas film and lots of characters, hundreds and thousands of people actually. तो जो मेन स्ट्रीम के जो कैरेक्टर्स होते हैं उस पर आप कितना ध्यान देते हो? देन you have lots of other characters where there are one-liners, two-liners, dialogues are there. तो उसमें आपका involvement कितना होता है? And how do you feel that this portal is going to help you? And do you feel that you go through people, those who are known to you first, and then you come to these kind of things as a secondary thing?
No, for me, it starts at the scripting phase. जब कैरेक्टर क्रिएट किया जा रहा है, उसी वक्त मेरे दिमाग में वो किस किस्म का होगा, कैसे दिखेगा, that immediately starts taking shape. So I start already looking for people. So, for example, when I was writing Guran, I used to always think that Guran should be somebody like Rajesh Vivek. Because जब तक स्क्रिप्ट आपकी पूरी नहीं होती, you can't take conscious decisions, but you always have somebody in mind. And then I actually went for Rajesh Vivek. But what happens most importantly for my movies is I need one fulcrum. if that one fulcrum is right, then everything else is easy to do. So when you have an Amir, or you have a Shahrukh, or you have a Hrithik, who are really going to play a character, going to change themselves, by their presence, they infuse the entire film with a different kind of believability. So it gives me freedom to cast a new girl. It gives me freedom to cast new faces. And what happens is those new faces even somehow make him or her also believable. So it's a process that takes some time, but I enjoy finding actors. So I enjoy, when I was saying I watch regional television, I meant actually DD Oriya, DD Srinagar, DD Bangla, go into all these channels and source the actors. And that can only be done when you have a kind of scripting level thoughts, clear thoughts.
Good afternoon, my thing was to ask you actually कि आपकी एक लिमिट होती है कि ना ये जितने इतने characters होते हैं वहाँ तक I'll be like focusing on that thing, and you have lots of other characters also, small characters. So
No, you're right, but every actor, right to the last, even if he's a non-speaking part, जिसे हम कहते हैं, non-speaking part, only presence, even that I ensure that it's auditioned and it's casted correctly. And when I say audition in wardrobe and everything. So it has to be done fully, otherwise you cannot leave anything unturned.
Ashu sir, Rachna from T2 Online. Sir, good afternoon. Sir, सवाल ये है कि जब आप अपनी पूरी फिल्म अच्छी तरह से कास्ट कर लेते हैं, स्क्रिप्ट एकदम सही लग जाती है जगह पर, और जब उसका ट्रेलर बाहर आता है तो कई तरह के रिएक्शंस आते हैं, मिक्स्ड से आते हैं, कई बार अच्छे होते हैं, कई बार क्रिटिसिज्म से भरे हुए होते हैं. आप उसको किस तरह से लेते हैं सर? How do you take criticism in your stride when you make some big films like you do?
I think you have to be open to that. क्योंकि एक बात तो तय है कि जैसे मैं आपको एक बहुत पुराना एग्जांपल दूं कि जब अमित जी का बहुत अच्छा दौर था, अब भी है, लेकिन जब in his young days when I was watching his movies like Diwar, when I was watching Trishul and all these kind of films, suddenly a film came in, a poster came in which was called Alap. And you had Amit ji's face on it in profile. A very poetic and, I didn't go for that movie. I didn't go for it simply because I was enjoying a Dawn and a Trishul and I thought you kuch alag picture, even though it was Amit ji. So what happens is, we have our own immediate responses to trailers. And in a trailer, you're trying to depict your movie to the best of your ability. So there are certain elements that shock you. But you have to still be patient and form your opinion after you see the film, because that's where actually everything comes out larger. And I must tell you, Alap was a superb film, and Amit ji was damn good in it.
Hi,
hello.
Karan and Ashutosh. Hi, here. Don't you think in this present scenario, we have you'll have very limited choice when it comes to lead heroine in your typical mainstream Bollywood film?
Yes. Big problem. Big problem. 100 movies to make and 6 of them only that can sell your movie. Because suddenly you take anybody else and say you won't get the budget otherwise. क्योंकि फिर music नहीं बिकेगा, overseas नहीं बिकेगी, satellite नहीं बिकेगा, digital नहीं बिकेगा, कुछ नहीं बिकता फिर. फिर then otherwise you make a film that is smaller, then you can still take chances. The moment and Ashutosh and I think are filmmakers that somehow when we think small we get scared and worried. I think we think best when we think large. At least for me, I think when I was making Student of the Year, I used to feel really sad on the set. There was no star on that set ever. So I used to feel, oh God, koi star nahi hai. So it used to bother me a little bit. But that was the ethos of that film. So I think, yes, it's very, very limiting. We have very few movie stars, and I hope the country starts loving more and more stars very soon and gives them long legs and longevity as movie stars so that we can actually have the choice, because otherwise, it's really a problem. If we're going through a crisis, there really is just those many actors who are in trade parlance, viable, saleable, etc. And there are many filmmakers and many stories to be told. But unfortunately, they don't go through the grind because they go through the grind.
The last line that you said is the most important. The country needs to love more and more heroes and heroines.
Yeah.
Because we have to make movies, and a filmmaker, he has now launched 3 faces, or I'm bringing out a new face. It's once in probably 1 year or 2 years, and then there's nothing. So there are others who are also launching. It's important that people start falling in love with
Yeah, I
more
think the
faces.
longevity of a movie star, of creating that huge impact with the star, I think maybe because it's all kind of, there's so much available that I think that, the way that we used to love our movie stars, up to the 80s, I think, that madness and insanity is definitely depleting with time. And well, I think we have to start loving them just to make more films, I think, otherwise we're, and anyway, to
Yeah, so
say
I think
that,
what
to
Samir
relate
said-
that
yeah.
to what
Yeah.
Shekhar's endeavor is, actually that's kind of exciting because, that opens, while there is just the dearth of those many viable actors, it also opens doors for so much new talent to walk through and kind of find a place. But like Ashutosh and I just said, the love is an audience prerogative. That's something we can't do anything about.
And I think what Samir said earlier is a very apt example of the funnel, right? Is the funnel serves as a potential discovery engine, and we want to be the input into that funnel. And once we become the input into that funnel, then it's really up to the filmmakers and the content creators and the script writers to be able to showcase a piece of talent for them to come alive. But it starts with the funnel. So,
Karan here, right here at the back. Here. My question is for stars in your last movie, Student of the Year. So would we see you launching new stars in your upcoming movies through Talent Next also?
Well, I hope so. I definitely think that's my brief, that we definitely have to launch faces. And I actually now have started, and I completely endorse what Ashutosh said, that, you take the pillar face and you can definitely then create talent around it. But you do need that. We make films with big budgets, we have to sell them. We're producers at the end of the day. I'm not a corporate studio. I'm not funded internationally. Or I'm not a public listed company. I don't have that pool of wealth lying to take that chance with. I need to kind of have a selling face and then work around it. When I made Student of the Year, it was a chance I took. It was a leap that I had to take. And fortunately, things worked out. But it doesn't always work like that. So my dictate to the production house, to the directors, to who are making movies, let's launch new faces. Let's bring in new energies. And then, of course, leverage that, which is what I've done with Varun, Sid and Alia. We've put them in. So as a result of launching them 4 years ago, cumulatively, they've done about 7 to 8 films with me already, so it's actually added to the repertoire of work in the company. It's completely beneficial, and I would encourage it at all levels.
and that trickle-down effect
Thank
is
you so much, Karan. That was the last question from the audience and the press.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Yes, thank you.
Let's thank our esteemed panel here with a one round round of applause. And thank you all for coming.
Thank you, everyone.